Hi Lisa, do you have any idea about spiritual aspect of cryptocurrencies in the blockchain technology, consciousness hacking? I mean, I love the theory of it and the idea of it. I love the idea that there's one currency and that everyone has free access to it. I mean, and that it's not controlled by a government or a person or a human. And also particularly that everybody has the right to use it. I mean, this is just, it's fair. But I think the person that made up Bitcoin originally had the idea that it's a stepping stone, and so eventually we stop using currency. But I mean, I believe that as humans we should all have the right to home, shelter, and water and a job, and that should be our right in our societies. But it's a great stepping stone to get away from banking and corporations and people owning money. So I think it's a stepping stone to eventually us not really needing money and us operating in a different way as humans. So yeah, that's my perspective on it. I am invested in Bitcoin. Not that I'm giving any advice. I think it's most probably going to crash again soon. It might go up a bit more, but it's most probably going to crash. It's gone up crazy the last 6 months. It's gone up crazy the last two. Well, it's gone up crazy, period. But it's most probably going to crash again. It's very volatile. But yeah, I love the idea behind it, particularly the idea that eventually it leads us off money. And it just seems so sad to me. There was one person, I just saw their question pop up, I didn't read it, from, family business is very stressful. It just doesn't need to be the way it is in our society with money. The problem is it's really complicated because all humans in our society have difficult chemical compounds and are set up differently and set up different wiring, and some people have more empathy, some people have more drive to completing and achievement, and in order to live in a society without money, we need to rely on all humans having the empathy to understand why that's so important and valuable, which currently isn't the way. And the ones that are most successful in breeding and producing money are normally ones with less empathy. Not all the time, that's not always the case. Some people can be really successful and have loads of empathy, but a lot of people that are involved in big businesses, the leaders of it aren't compassionate and empathic, and it needs all of us to have empathy for one another to understand why it's important that everybody gets food, home, shelter, and water, and access to their basic rights and live so it's also, as well as Bitcoin and the money changing, our mentality as a society needs to change. And it cannot be an enforced thing. So as soon as we enforce that everybody has to have all these sorts of things, that's not going to work. That's going to need violence and dominance again. It has to be a natural thing which humans energetically want to do. Like in Europe, like I think a lot of people in Europe, if you ask them, I think a lot of people like the government-run healthcare, even people that pay higher taxes and could have private insurances. I think people have, as a culture and energetically, got on board with it, so I don't think it's something that needs to be forced anymore. I think that it begins to be inbred in us, that's a necessity for a society. So it needs to be more organic, that humans' mentality changes as well for something like Bitcoin to really work. And for society to change. But I do love the idea of it. You know, when I read into Bitcoin and began to find out of it, I was very pro it. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about when we talk about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, you should research it. There's also a TV series that I watched about cryptocurrencies, which explains it in a very basic form. It's really, really super complicated for me to try to explain it, and I don't know if I can intellectually explain it. It's more of a feeling as well, because it's so complicated. Yeah.